Consider supporting Review Tech USA on Patreon for just $1 a month. Link below in the description. Skip it up and that up. So if you remember, pretty much about a year ago now, wow, time flies, I discussed how there were educated rumors that From Software already had Dark Souls 3 running on the Switch. And if the Switch sold well, which fast forward now to late 2017, it is selling well, that From Software would bring the Dark Souls trilogy over to Nintendo's newest console. Now, back then, I got a lot of flack for discussing that article. Everyone's like, oh, Rich, it's from Laura Dale. She's not accurate when it comes to rumors, so on and so forth, which, whether she is or isn't, whatever. But, I was getting a little bit of heat for discussing that rumor. But here we are now a year later, and it seems that in some way, shape, or form, Dark Souls is coming to the Nintendo Switch, but whether it's the trilogy, Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, or just the original Dark Souls remastered, is what we have to wait and see. Now, on December 15th, Bandai Namco is going to have a large press event where they're going to announce a whole bunch of new games. And one of those games that a lot of people are predicting that they're going to announce is some kind of Dark Souls being remastered for all the consoles, and there's still rumors out there that the Dark Souls trilogy is coming to the Nintendo Switch. But now what's interesting is a lot of articles that were saying that it's going to be the whole trilogy, Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 on Nintendo's console. I see a lot of backpedaling with that. There's either updates or articles are being taken down. So it makes me wonder if there was some misinformation out there. What I think is going to happen, wishful thinking, is all Dark Souls games, all three of them, the trilogy comes to the Switch, but I think realistically it's just going to be the original Dark Souls remastered. Now, what leads me to believe that it's just going to be Dark Souls 1 coming to the Nintendo Switch is that Marcus Sellers, who's the writer and editor over at the Nintendo Switch Network, posted this tweet, and this is what it had to say. One of the games being announced by Namco will be a Dark Souls 1 remaster. Hashtag Dark Souls Switch, hashtag Dark Souls PS4, hashtag Dark Souls Xbox, hashtag Bandai Namco event. Now, I'm going to keep it real with you, and here is what I think we're going to see from Bandai Namco in terms of Dark Souls for the Switch. I think we're just going to see the first one remastered. If I'm wrong, I'll be very happy that I'm wrong. I think it would be amazing to see all Dark Souls games, the trilogy, on Nintendo's newest console. I just don't think it has the horsepower to handle it, though. After seeing the video that Digital Foundry did on Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I'll have a link to it below in the description. You can check it out. In portable mode, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 goes to like sub-standard definition resolutions, like below 480p in certain instances when you're playing it undocked. So if that game is having issues, I can't see them getting Dark Souls 3 to run properly. I just can't see it, at least in portable mode. Maybe there's enough horsepower there to run Dark Souls 3 with like medium and low settings at 720p in docked mode, but I just don't see it running well in portable mode. And after what I saw with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 from Digital Foundry, that just kind of dashed my hopes and put the final nail in the coffin if we'll ever see a game like Dark Souls 3 on the Switch. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they really optimized the engine to make it run well on the Switch, both in portable and docked mode, but I just don't see it happening. I mean, as a Switch fan, and I'm sure you guys agree, we can't complain though, man. We had a hell of a 2017 with that console. It blew away my expectations, and I was a big critic, and I was very concerned about Nintendo's future, but they turned things around, and games have been great for it. I love Doom on the Switch. I've been playing some Resident Evil Revelations. That runs great. And the list goes on and on and on. There's a ton of games out there for the Nintendo Switch. It would have been nice to see Dark Souls 3 on there, and I probably would have played Dark Souls 3 more in there than I ever played it on my PC or on any home console, but I just don't think the Tegra X1 chip can handle that game, a full-fat version of Dark Souls 3, without making too many compromises. And I have to keep it real with you. I do have concerns for a Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus on the Switch, because I think with Doom, they made a lot of concessions, but it still had good enough performance that I enjoyed it. I thought it was a competent port, and they pretty much were hitting the limit as to how many concessions they could make with Doom to make it work on the Switch without taking too much away. Wolfenstein 2 is running on the same engine, but it's more advanced. So if they have to make any more concessions than what they made with Doom to make Wolfenstein 2 work on the Switch, I don't know, it may be too much. So I know I'm being kind of cynical in this video, guys, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It'll be great to see Dark Souls 3 on the Nintendo Switch, but from what I've been seeing with what the Switch is capable of, I think it's been doing great, but I also have to be realistic. I'm a fan of the console, not a fanboy, and I just don't see Dark Souls 3 running properly. This is Rich at Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, and to hear more content like this, make sure to subscribe to Review Tech USA.